Think back for a moment to middle school. I don't know about you all, but I remember those kids. The class clowns, the ones who were disruptive, hilarious, too smart for their own good. Maybe some of you were that kid. Many years ago, there was one such child who struggled academically, constantly challenging and rebelling against his teachers. That kid was Albert Einstein. Einstein, and most children growing up today in the US, were taught from an early age the value of conformity, of showing deference and respect to their elders, of submitting to authority, and aiming for high achievement. And one can understand the logic behind this model. These are all important traits in a society. We can't have every citizen running around doing whatever they want. There need to be rules, laws, and traditions. But by actively suppressing or discouraging those who don't fit the traditional mold, we might miss out on the opportunity to cultivate creativity, innovation, and out-of-the-box thinking, as demonstrated by people like Einstein. This urge to put people in their place, to make them conform, is not new. This urge has existed for centuries and can even be found in our sacred texts. Shim'u na HaMorim! Listen up, you rebels, Moses cries, fed up with the Israelites' seemingly incessant complaints, desperate for their cooperation as they continued to wander in the desert. The word morim, or rebels, is spelled mem resh yud mem in the Torah text. I, like the rabbis of old, love a good Hebrew wordplay. If one were to add a vav, just one small letter, the word morim could be understood to mean teachers as well as rebels. In fact, Midrash teaches us that morim has various possible meanings, including stubborn ones, fools, and those who teach their teachers. It is interesting to shift our perspective from thinking of the Israelites as perpetual complainers, regularly inciting rebellion, to thinking of them as righteous protesters, teaching their leaders by giving voice to their physical, emotional, and spiritual needs. Many important figures throughout history have been rebels. Bill Gates dropped out of college, the more traditional and perhaps safer path to success, and went on to become a giant in the tech industry, forever changing the ways in which we interact with technology and with one another. Gates used his rebellious, out-of-the-box nature to create innovative products that have impacted every corner of our society. There are also rebels who have made change through productive agitation. Take the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., for instance. While it is tempting to remember his leadership for the fight for civil rights through rose-colored glasses, focused on his commitment to peaceful and nonviolent resistance, it's important to note that at the time, Dr. King was viewed as quite a provoking, incendiary figure, especially to those who could not yet wrap their minds around the changes taking place in their society. Dr. King disrupted the status quo, which greatly angered many in our country who saw his rebellion as a threat. People wanted things to stay the way they were, but King knew that working towards racial equality was not just about race. It was about teaching our society that all citizens of this nation were created in the image of God, regardless of their skin color. While Dr. King began as a rebel, he is now regarded as one of our greatest teachers. Today, too, we need rebels, now more than ever. There are thousands of immigrant children, huddling masses entering our land, trapped in camps at our border. These kids are thirsty for water, for connection, for respect, freedom, and opportunity. In the book of Leviticus, God says to us, "The stranger who resides with you shall be to you as one of your citizens. You shall love him as yourself, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt." We need rebels at the border who are agitating for change. Rebels who can teach and remind our leaders of our core values, of our responsibility to love our neighbors as ourselves, to help the stranger, the orphan, and the widow who are in our gates. We at Central Synagogue, those of us who are here in person and those in our virtual community, have the power to be rebels and teachers. We can donate money or airline miles to organizations like Kind that are doing work on the ground to help these immigrant children and their families. We can gather in prayer with our community, participating in an interfaith prayer vigil that will be held in the pavilion here at Central this coming Tuesday night at 7 p.m. We can take action by volunteering, working with organizations such as HIAS to do our part in helping to repair the world. And we can muster up our best Einstein, Gates, and King, summoning as much righteously rebellious creativity, insight, and innovation as we can to come up with new and important ways to incite change, to teach our leaders, and to help our society grow. Our ancestors did this millennia ago, and I believe that we can and we will do so today too. Ken Yehi Ratzon.